Good evening and welcome in to the Wild Sports Show. To the left of your screen is Pops, and I am QMP. We are your favorite father son duo talking sports. And today we got a fun show for y'all, as always. But we're going to talk about, of course, the Cowboys win against the Chiefs. We're going to also discuss Packers Lions. We're going to talk about the upcoming game we got with the Lions this coming Thursday, tomorrow night, y'all, which is going to be our topic of the day. Gonna also discuss Bears Eagles. Gonna also discuss who is the best quarterback in the NFL division by division. Talking about the AFC North this time. So it's going to be our question of the day. And then we're going to get into a bit of college football. But that's where we're going to start right now, y'all. Going to talk about some college football and what happened in regards to head coaching change that happened from Ole Miss, from the head coach going from Ole Miss to LSU. So let's play that clip, y'all. Let's check this out.
That airport scene and Knox and I driving and people trying to run us off the road, man, and the things they said to us. And then we got here and we had been here for 6 minutes, and how we love you, coach, you're the best ever. And they're like, we only been here 6 minutes, we ain't done anything for you yet. That's the SEC, and I've been around long enough to know that, and it's just the passion of the SEC, and so I'm not upset at those reactions.
So, y'all, that was Lane Kiffin, who is now the former coach of Ole Miss and is now the head coach of the LSU football team. Now, I got some strong feelings about it because at the end of the day, you know, I'm okay with them making a decision to go to LSU. However, the fact that they did not let him finish coaching out this season at Ole Miss, it just totally baffles me. And the reason being is because I've seen other coaching changes that have been made across the college football landscape, and these coaches were allowed to stay on to coach their teams through seasons end. You know, so you got one example is the James Madison University coach Bob Chesney. He is now going to become the head football coach at UCLA. Right, he is being allowed to coach James Madison University throughout the remainder of the season because they could have a spot in the college football playoff. And I'm pretty sure the coaches wanted Bob Chesney to stay there, to do his thing with them, and to finish the job, to finish a job, and to make sure that he's able to get the job done that he started. You know, he very well could have more recruits or whatever from James Madison go to UCLA. Doesn't matter. James Madison said, you know what, we're going to let you coach. So my feeling about it is, why is this coach being allowed to do it, other coaches being allowed to do it, but yet Lane Kiffin is not allowed to? Yes, recruiting could happen, so be it, whatever the case may be. But this man has been there 6 years, and they won 11 games for the first time in their school's history. Or a matter of fact, not school's history. Maybe it was a school's history, but I know even if it wasn't in the first time in the school's history, it has been a very long time since that's occurred. So my thing is, why don't you let him finish the job? Recruiting is going to happen regardless, but it's going to be much more visceral, much more vindictive with his recruiting now because you would not let him finish coaching at a school that he helped build up this program. So, Pops, please tell me your thoughts on that. Let me know what you think about, this whole situation. Lane Kiffin leaving from Ole Miss, not going to be the coach at LSU.
Well, I agree with you on that as far as him being allowed to coach his last game there. There's one other school that actually is allowed they're allowing their coach now, and that's the University of North Texas. It's kind of in the same similar situation, and they're allowing him to actually do the thing that you talked about him coaching the last game of possibly UNT getting into the playoffs and all of that. And so that was fair to him to do that for him. And so I'm like you about that. The young man, the coach has built the program up, and he's been fair, and he's put Ole Miss back on the map. And I think because he did that, you could at least do that for him. But we know the SEC, when it's another school and it's a rivalry school, then they tend to have kind of a bitterness about that, especially if he had went to another school, possibly say in the Big Ten or whatever like that, or went to the Big 12 or whatever, then it probably would have been okay. But to go to another rivalry school, then that's probably why they're so bitter about that and why they're not allowing him to coach the last game, because it really hurt a lot of Ole Miss fans. But as we say, that's the nature of the business. And if it had been the other way around, if he had left LSU and came to Ole Miss, they'd have been happy. So again, I think they should have let him play, or should I say, coach his last game. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Hey, what up, Brandon? Appreciate you tuning in, man. Appreciate the comment, brother. What up, sir? But yeah, as you said, Pops, the thing is that he should have been allowed to stay on, and he was not allowed to do that, and that's unfortunate. Now, the timing of everything, it does play a role, as we talked about before the show, regarding recruiting National Signing Day. Got a comment from Quincy on here. Thank you for chiming in, my man. Teams need to stop trying to get coaches while the season is still being played. It's kind of a distraction. Let the season end before trying to make any moves. I completely agree with that, and I know Pops does as well. It would make more sense to be able to make these moves at season's end, so that way you don't have to worry about the distractions whatsoever. Let these coaches finish out their season as they do in the NFL. Now, I've seen multiple shows over the last few days in regards to this topic, and they continue to say it's not like the NFL and can ever be. Yes, it can. It can be. You can make that happen. And people were saying before that there's going to be a college football playoff. Well, guess what? There is now. So you mean to tell me that couldn't happen, where you couldn't have these times changed up and make sure that these schools are able to retain their coaches until season's end? Now we all know the college football landscape is ever changing with coaches and moving schools and all that constantly, and the hope is that it would adopt NFL's timeline and allow these coaches to coach the seasons in to where it isn't a distraction. Good comment, Quincy. I appreciate that. But again, Pops, you and I agree. At the end of the day, Lane Kiffin should have been allowed to stay on at Ole Miss to finish out the job, and to add another thing to it, the players wanted him to, stay on the coach. It wasn't like he was wanting to do it on his own. The players were like, "We want our coach to finish the job. We want our coach to coach us and to lead us into the college football playoff." And you never know what could happen. It could be one and done. Who knows? But they're talking about recruiting and all that. Listen, end of the day, he's going to get the players he's going to get regardless. Coach is going to get regardless if he's allowed to coach there or not. So don't give me all that BS about that. He was going to do that regardless, because he's a hell of a recruiter anyway. You know what I mean? As he showed with Ole Miss. So all that garbage about recruiting and coaching and all that, he's going to get who he's going to get. So anything else to add to that, Pop?
Well, like you said, he has a love still for the players that he recruited for Ole Miss, and I think he would have loved to have done that. And I really believe deep down inside he is hurt by the fact that they didn't allow him to do that. But like you said again, he also has to move on and then start trying to get everybody for LSU now, and to thank the fans for being supportive for him when he was out there at Ole Miss, and just go ahead and move on, and then just try to make LSU a better school.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to leave that topic at that. So now we're going to talk about Chiefs Cowboys, y'all. So obviously we know it was a Cowboys win, but let's get into the first clip of highlights and see how things went for the Cowboys, y'all.
That was a first down play. Pickup of 10. Now over to Rice on the run with a blocker in front. Wiley in front. And Rice is free to the end zone for a Kansas City touchdown.
And then thrive later.
3rd and 9. As Dak throws to a wide open Lamb. Stutter stop move and tackled down at about the 29 by McDuffie.
Right there at the top of the league. Big test today.
3rd and 10. Going to the end zone, and he's there. It's Lamb who converts for the 3rd time on 3rd down on this drive. Rice down low, looks like one-on-one coverage. Mahomes looking, taking off. Going to try to beat him with his legs. Got tripped up, but he's still always dangerous down here. Mahomes looking in the end zone, and he goes to Kelsey for the touchdown.
All right, y'all. So that was the first clip of highlights from the Chiefs Cowboys game. Now, at this point, Chiefs are up 14-7 with that touchdown, that 4-down touchdown to Travis Kelsey. Now, Pops, you and I were in the same place watching this game, thinking, okay, what's happening here? You know, 4th down conversion, what's going on? So tell me what you think about what you just saw in that clip there, what your thoughts were initially. You're muted, Pops. Hold on, y'all having a bit of technical difficulties. Bear with us. Still muted, Pop. But listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, I know Pops was
Well,
not in a good place. There he is. Go ahead, Pop.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, yeah. Well, anyway, I was saying, like, you would say, like, Mahomes is going to do his magic again in all other games where he actually needs a victory in this game. And so we got ahead. He went ahead and we said, "Oh man, here the Chiefs go. They're going to show us what they're made of, and he show us that they need to have this game so they can stay right in the race." But it was one little thing that happened in there where I saw where Dallas actually went down and scored and did what they needed to do, and I also saw where the defense they didn't actually play like I thought they would at the beginning of the game because they let him get outside and escape out of the pocket. So I'm hoping that at that time that the Cowboys would, shall I say, adjust their defense. And sure enough, I think they did do that a little later on, as you'll see. But I thought that Dallas being the team that they're being better. Well, when they played the game before that, when they played, I think it was the game Philadelphia. The confidence was there, but they just had to put it on the field.
All right. Yo, Chris, appreciate you chiming in. Thank you for tuning in, my man. Thank you so much. Chris got another comment. We on our way to the Super Bowl. Yo, relax, man. Relax, relax. Brandon's got a comment. Thank you for chiming in, my man. What did I say last week? Do not start slow against Mahomes. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Appreciate you chiming in, boss. All right, so now, y'all, we're going to get into the second clip of highlights. Let's check it out, y'all.
That gets it away. They get the first down. Ferguson. Here's the kick by Aubrey and finds its way to straighten out. Jones coming after him. Prescott gets it away in time. Ferguson has the first down out to the 5 catches for Lamb, who sits out this play. 2nd and 1. They've got the first, and look out. Here goes Davis. Malik Davis sitting in zone, and the Cowboys take the lead. And play football. How many kids have done that? He's a football man since a kid. And toss it to Wiley. And he picks up the first down. He threw that big block.
They're going to sell it to stop this run. Play action has a chance.
That going deep. Lamb is held up, and that's going to draw a flag on McDuffie.
All right. So that was the second part of the clips, y'all, from the highlights from the Dallas Cowboys against the Chiefs game. Quincy got another comment. I need them to adjust sooner. I would like to see them shut teams down no matter who they are. Agreed. Agreed. These slow starts don't help us at all. Horror Flick Chick chiming in. Hey, y'all, what's up? Appreciate you chiming in. Appreciate you tuning in. And then Brandon's got another comment. Exactly. It's like they want to size up the team instead of imposing their will and setting the tone in their own house. Agree with both of y'all, Quincy and Brandon. Look, at the end of the day, they got to get it done fast. They got to start fast. And I thought that they would dominate the game, which they ended up doing, which we'll see in some highlights coming up. But I thought they would dominate the game and it would be a 30-17 score, Cowboys. Wasn't the exact score as far as on the Chiefs end, but, you know, They did some things second half. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get into the third clip of highlights, and then Pops, I'm gonna let you chime in. Let's get into the third clip of highlights.
Okay.
Prescott's going to throw it, fling it, one-on-one coverage, 36 yards.
If I know what you're doing, I'm going for it.
Kick is good. Again, automatic. Inside the 3rd and 3. They've been here once before in this quarter. Now they've got it to Hunt, and they're going to be able to move the drive on down the field as from the 22. Wow. Got Rice. Call inside the 5 when he needs it. Here's Mahomes rolling in trouble. Now throws and is pulled down for the catch. The touchdown by Rice.
Nobody's helping over the top over here.
3rd and 8. Here comes the blitz. Yeah, you saw it, Tony. There's Pickens, who pirouettes around the defender and takes off past Edwards. Oh, my gosh. What a leap that was. Okay,
I'm going for it.
3rd and goal. Can they convert here? Prescott looking around in trouble. He flips it to Williams for the touchdown at the last moment. Javonte was open and waiting for it.
All right, now, Pops, you saw the second and third BOUT highlights there. So tell me your thoughts on what you were thinking, at that part of the game. You saw those 2 clips. Let me know your thoughts, my good sir.
Well, let's bring up one good point. I had said on the last show that there was a young man with the number 88 on his chest, and he had made, shall I say, had one of his worst games the last game. And I said that he would make up for that. And sure enough, that's exactly what he did to show everybody that he wasn't getting the big bucks for nothing. And also, you had the other receiver, which, Pickens did what he needed to do. And it shows me this, that now you cannot key on either one of those guys, because when you key on one, then the other one will have success. And then also the fact that they didn't give up when they got behind, and they kept playing, and the defense started getting better.
Yeah, I agree, and I was gonna say that, Pops. You beat me to it. So yes, kudos to Pops for calling out CeeDee Lamb, saying that he was gonna have a comeback game, which he truly did. And we both looked at each other. We were there watching the game and said, "You were right. You were right. He did come back, and he proved himself to be a viable receiver. Still, he's still showing that he's that guy. He just needs to continue to keep that up, and keep that motivation and show that he's one of the best receivers in the league." So I agree with you there. Got another comment from Quincy. They bet not ever lose. Pick. No, I agree. And we're gonna get into that a bit in regards to George Pickens. I know Pops and I both want the Cowboys to re-sign him. Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, they know what they got in this guy, and I'm hoping that they truly understand how valuable he is to this offense and what he brings on a game to game basis. The dude's a game breaker, and it's exciting to see him make play after play after play. The real clips. Appreciate you tuning in. Salute to the family. Hey, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much for the support. Got another comment from Brandon. CD had a comeback game, but there were some forced passes like the interception. Agreed. Now, I will say with the interception, though, Brandon, that was partly because of that blitz as well that came off the edge that Dak didn't see. But I will say, as the game went on, he did play exceptionally well against the blitz. He was tearing up that blitz completely. Another comment from Quincy. One thing I can say is this is definitely a different looking squad, one we haven't seen in years. Even when they were going 12-5, I still wasn't feeling them. This team is turning out to be better than those teams. I agree, and I know Pops agrees with that as well. There's a different energy with this team. There really is. And I know Pops and Prime, when he was on last week, were saying, and the week before, that it's just a different energy. It's something that he brings, that Brian Schottenheimer is bringing to this team that hasn't been here since Jimmy Johnson. Okay, I know we can agree on that, Pops.
Yes, sir.
But I just truly see a difference here. Great comment, Quincy. There is a different vibe here, way better than those 12-5 teams. That is for sure. So great comment. We're going to get into the last clip of highlights. Let's get that last clip in. Let's see what we got here, how the Cowboys finished.
Different situations that come up to make it a 7-point lead. Prescott, second and third options. He's looking, has to release it, and it's caught. It's Pickens who got him most of the way there at the 10-yard line.
But the only thing people will remember is from here on out.
Prescott going deep. He's got a man waiting for it. It's Lamb hauling it in at the Kansas City 40. Here's the fake handoff, the rollout, the throw, and almost intercepted. And Aubrey chips it home, and Dallas leads by 10. 3rd and 6. Quinnen Williams tripped him up, but he's still going and heaving it down the field. Wide open is Worthy. Unbelievable play by Mahomes. Last one trying to force it in there to Rice, who has 2 touchdowns already. Mahomes going to the end zone. Back at the end zone. Caught. Tiptoe. Touchdown. Wow. Hollywood Brown. Dak throws it. Wide open. Straight pass play. Slap. Pass is on the money. As Dak is able to hit Pickens, who takes the helmet off. Ooh.
All right, y'all. The final score was 31-28 Cowboys. Horror flick chick, I'm going to need you to relax. I understand. Sorry. But, we had to talk about the game, so I apologize. But, but your Chiefs will be okay. They'll be okay, I think. I think they'll be okay. But again, 31-28 Cowboys victory. The most impressive thing I will say, Pops, is that they another comment from Horror Flick Chick. So what? Hey, listen, I'm telling you, they're gonna be all right. Relax. But as you can see, Pops, she's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. But as I was saying, the most impressive thing to me is that the Cowboys were able to close out the game. It wasn't necessarily on the defense to do it, but the offense was able to make those plays to prevent Mahomes from getting the ball again once they had that score with 2 minutes left. So that was impressive to see. Impressive to see that Brian Schottenheimer was aggressive with his play calls, wasn't scared. You know what I mean? To basically, you know how it is when you have those coaches that are playing not to lose instead of playing to win. He was playing to win. He really was. Horror Flick Chick with another comment. This is a hard show for me, Pops. Like I said, she's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So, Quincy Wells got another comment. Don't get lackadaisical at the end of the games. Keep your foot on the gas. Agreed. And that's what Brian Schottenheimer did for sure. Brandon chiming in with another comment. They did well with clock management. Agreed. They did well with clock management. They did really well with that. And like I said, kudos to Schottenheimer for the play calls and staying aggressive as opposed to, again, playing not to lose, playing to win is what I like to see. So that was very impressive. Now, Pops, where our player of the game was, and it was our quarterback, Dak Prescott, throwing dimes all over the field. He deserves our player of the game, which I know you agree with that. He made plays, and like I said, early on, he had to mistake the interception, but then he started carving them up. Horror Flick Chick, I'm not a Chiefs fan or a Kansas City fan. I'm just a Kansas City native. Okay, whatever you say. But as I was saying, Pops, Dak Prescott, player of the game. Give me your thoughts on how you thought Dak Prescott played, sir.
Well, most people think that Dak, when he gets behind, the pressure's on him, he tends to fold. And this game, playing against, shall I say, one of the Super Bowl champions, because he defeated the Super Bowl champs last week, and then the former Super Bowl champs he defeated this week. And most people thought that Dallas would possibly lose that game. At my job, there were more people that thought that Kansas City, they've been talking about Kansas City, this game, all the way back when the season started. And, wait till they play Kansas City. Well, we know that Kansas City is a good team. As a matter of fact, they could be a great team. But Dak showed that he had the knack, and he had the, shall I say, Oh, well, he showed people that he could actually do better in the close games, and a lot of people thought, well, this is Dak's turn to fold. Now the Mahomes is he's going to pull it out for his team or whatever. But again, like I said, Dak Prescott may be the guy we actually expect him to be, but we'll see what happens within these next 2 or 3 games because the pressure is really on him in the sense to how to get them over the hump because everybody expects old Dak to fail.
All right. So now we're gonna move on to another game that was played on Thanksgiving Day. Was the Packers Lions? The Packers Lions, y'all. I mean, I gotta give credit where credit is due. Micah Parsons did his thing. He did his thing. He had 2.5 sacks. It was impressive to see him make play after play. And these sacks, all sacks are not created equal, just like not all catches are created equal. These sacks that he made, these plays that he made, were crucial to the Packers winning the game. So again, credit where credit is due. Did your thing, and Jordan Love once again showing up on Thanksgiving Day. It's like it's been a staple for him, like the last couple of seasons, where Thanksgiving Day he starts playing out of his mind, and sure enough, he did so against the Lions, and it was impressive to see, which I'm not surprised that he made it happen against the Lions on Thanksgiving Day because again he showed he steps up during Thanksgiving Day games. But like I said, Michael Parsons is my man. I see you. I see you. Give me your thoughts on the game, Pop.
Well, you look at the Lions; they really did need that game more than the Packers needed it. And I think when you look at Parsons, the one thing that he does do is he draws a lot of attention to him, which allows his teammates to get sacks. And he did that even though he got his own sacks or whatever. He makes his defense better because a lot of times the offensive lineman will look at him more so, and then the other defensive lineman would have a chance to make those sacks. And then going like you talked about Love, I think Love is doing a great job there with the Packers because a lot of people didn't think he could take uh, Aaron Rodgers' place, and it would probably the Packers would probably fold. But I'm glad to see a young man succeed. And some people said this. I don't know exactly how it came out, but they said that they even think that Dallas and Green Bay may face each other again. That's a long shot or whatever right now, but we'll see what happens. But they tend to think that 40-40 tie might come back and they may play each other again.
Maybe. And you said something that tie may be a big factor in a positive way for our Cowboys. Just saying. Tie is definitely better than the loss. That is for sure. Got another comment from Brandon. The Lions are not playing good ball right now. They almost lost to the Giants. Tomorrow night's game could be a trap. I completely agree. I completely agree. We're going to get into that. Good comment, Brandon. But we're going to get into that. Just our overall take on that game coming up tomorrow. It is a big game for both teams, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to now get into Bears Eagles, y'all. Bears Eagles. Now, seeing as though we are avid Cowboys fan, Pops, I was very pleased to see the Bears run up and down the field on the Eagles for sure. Um, they literally beat them up throughout the entire game. They beat them up the entire horror flick chick. You're wild. Thank God. Yeah, we're not talking about that game. Relax, relax. Like I said, don't you worry. Your Chiefs are gonna be okay. But anyway, um, like I said, I think the Bears did an amazing job of dominating the Eagles, and it's not they're not as bad a team as we thought when we initially lost to them at all. You know what I mean? They're playing some good ball, and they are now the number one seed in the NFC currently. Got another comment from Quincy. These Bears are totally unexpected. That being said, I hope the boys get another shot at them. I agree. I completely agree, sir. I hope we get another shot at them as well. But they are showing that, Cowboys lost to them wasn't that bad because they are playing some good ball when it comes down to just them winning whichever way they need to. to pull out the victory. So, Pops, I'm gonna let you get into it. Let me know what you think about it. But first, I'm gonna read this comment from Brandon. The Bears are legit, but I'm just not sold on Caleb Williams. Hey, relax, man. That's the one I say is the best quarterback in the NFC North, man. You gotta have my back on that, brother. But yeah, that's just my take. Caleb Williams, best quarterback in the NFC North. I'm gonna stick to that. Pops, give me your take on Bears Eagles. What did you think about the game, sir?
What are the Eagles Birds that good, or the Eagles that bad, or was it a trap game for the Eagles? So we don't really don't know that. But now, if you really look at the NFL as a whole, in a sense, then there are other teams that are playing a lot better than we thought they would. And I know we're not talking about this team, but if you look at the Carolina Panthers, in a sense, they beat some teams, and I guess they also beat the Cowboys. So eh, the losses that we've had, it kind of looks like, well, wait a minute, are we really saying that the Birds are that bad and the Panthers are that bad? Or are these teams elevating and getting better? And so again, as you saw what the Birds did to the Eagles, well, maybe the Cowboys say, but man, the Cowboys are sorry. They can't even beat the Birds, blah, blah, blah. Well, now we can talk to the Eagle fans and see what actually took place with them. So, and they were the Super Bowl champs. So is the case for the Birds, as we all say, they may be actually ascending, and it could be that we may play them again also. But I think, like I said, the teams in the NFL now that were down are trying to come back up.
Yep. And this is the thing, and I failed to mention this early on, but they beat them in Philadelphia, right? They beat them at the Eagles' place. So, and then we got another comment from Brandon. The Eagles have a stale offense and no run defense. Well, I mean, look, man, the one thing that's really keeping them in the game in these games is their defense, because their offense is not really making plays whatsoever. Their defense is really keeping these games close to where their offense gets some type of momentum to get that game winning score, a game winning field goal, or whatever the case may be. But speaking of the Eagles fans were chanting "Fire Kevin" during some of this game. They were booing. I honestly thought the booing wasn't going to stop because they just kept doing it. It seemed like after every play that the Eagles didn't make drop pass, errant pass, sack, whatever the case, interception. They just kept booing, kept booing, kept booing. But it's eerily similar to the. It's looking like the fallout that they had, a couple years ago, where they started off with a great record and then they just fell off the face of the planet, and they wound up losing in the wild card round against the Buccaneers because they just ran up and down the field on them. But it's looking eerily similar to that, where maybe they are prepped to just fail and lose a bunch of games. And keep this in mind: if the Eagles lose another game and the Cowboys win out, we are going to win the NFC East. And that was at one time not a possible thought, even an inkling of a thought by you or I and other, analysts that were talking about the Cowboys and what they thought about the team in general. Got another comment from Brandon. No, the Eagles gave up 281 rushing yards against the Bears. That's the problem. No, agreed. Agreed. They did get ran all over for sure. But I'm telling you, the better um, part of their team is their defense for sure. Right now, that's what's playing well. Now they did get ran up and down on against the Bears for sure, but their defense is what's keeping them in these games, at least over the course of the season. Because you're not really hearing people talk about their defense. You're hearing them talk about the offense being so bad. That's the main thing. So, we'll see how things go, but it's not looking good. They're talking about making a quarterback change, talking about wanting to fire the coach and all this stuff. All this kind of stuff is coming out. Now, we both know, Pops, that winning does cure all. However, the Eagles have the Chargers coming up. That's not an easy out at all. Now, obviously, I'm hoping for them to lose at least one or two games remaining. And, is it a fair thing to say that the Cowboys could win out? Yes, they could, because they've gone on runs like this before, and we're hoping that they will continue their winning ways. And tomorrow's a crucial game. Tomorrow's a crucial game, and that's what we're going to go ahead and talk about now. Y'all, we're gonna talk about the Cowboys Lions. Cowboys Lions. So listen, y'all, they're coming up tomorrow. It's a crucial game. Playing them Thursday night football prime time. It's a crucial game for both teams, y'all. Pops, give me your thoughts, sir.
Well, let's put it like this. I'd said before when Dallas made the run when they started winning playoff games, the Lions were part of that back in the day, and I believe that the Cowboys, knowing the importance of this game tomorrow night, and also everyone still expects them to fail. They could, but I think that they will prove to everybody that these wins that they've had over the Super Bowl champ and the former Super Bowl champ were not flukes. And I believe the coaches they have now can actually inspire them to show everyone that they are ascending instead of descending. And I think Dak has a little chip on his shoulder to show everybody that he is the quarterback that can possibly lead them on into the playoffs and possibly get victories in the playoffs because we all know and say that every time Dak gets in tight situations, he folds. So tomorrow night in Detroit, we will find out. It's going to be a physical game, and we're going to need to find out if the Cowboys defense now, which we've seen, has gotten better. The five that they put on the front line now on the defense seems as if they can get pressure. So I believe, like I said, tomorrow night, Dallas will try to prove to everybody that we are really legit and we can come out with the victory.
Now, I hear you there, Pops. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Um, I think how we've played over these last couple of games has shown a lot. But as Brandon said, what we don't want this to end up being is a trap game. And it's kind of setting up to be that way. And I'm hoping that the Cowboys do not fall into that trap and that they literally stay focused and handle their business. Now, if we're being realistic here, if we're being realistic, at this particular time, the Cowboys have a better team than the Lions. If we're being real about it. Got another comment from Brandon that Lions have injury woes, but that doesn't mean anything. Jared Goff can get the open man if you let him. St. Brown is on 100%. Agreed. Good call on that, my man. So I'm actually going to take a look at their injuries that they have right now currently, and I believe, let's see here. So right now, as far as the Lions are concerned, they're they have a few injuries. They got Kirby Joseph that's out. Khalif Raymond's going to be out. Brock Wright's going to be out. Shane Zylstra is going to be out. And then we have a few questionable guys. We got Kyoto Orvasika. We have Brian Branch, who's questionable. Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow, Panay Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Sion Vaki. They're all questionable. Now, the Amon-Ra St. Brown injury is what I'm intrigued about because of the fact that he hasn't practiced the last couple of days. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm concerned about that one. Queen of Conversations, that's the whole team. I mean, they got a lot of injuries for sure, but there are some crucial ones on there. Brian Branch is another one of those players on the Lions defense that is a heck of a player, but he's nicked up. Said Panay Sewell, heck of an offensive lineman, he's nicked up. And like I said, Amon-Ra St. Brown, got to pay attention to that one, Pops, because he's a tough player. They say he's going to be out 1 or 2 weeks. I don't know, though. It seems like he might try to get out on the field. I don't know. And he's a crucial part of the offense. He's a crucial part of their offense for sure. So, we'll see how it goes. But they do have a lot of injuries. That was from Adam Schefter earlier today, talking about how many injuries they had. But, we'll see how that turns out. Like I said, guys, it's going to be a crucial game for the Cowboys to have to get. And there's one player that we definitely have to stop, and it's this guy right here. Not that clip. The one with the Lions. The Lions running back. Nope. Not him. Nope. Nope.
Glad I'm not a DB.
Right up the gut, there goes Gibbs. Foot race. Winfield can't get there. Touchdown Lions. After the penalty on Jamel Dean, 78 yards for Jahmyr Gibbs. And for the Lions, their longest run of the season. And
Listen, Jahmyr Gibbs, Pops, I know you agree. That guy is a game breaker. Now, they got another guy on the side of the ball, Aiden Hutchinson. But if Jahmyr Gibbs takes over a game, lights out for sure. Pops, give me your thoughts about Jahmyr Gibbs. What do you think about him? You saw that clip of him busting a run, and he's like supersonic speed out there. Tell me your thoughts.
Well, like we all saw what he could do, and if we see, shall I say, if we saw that, and that means then the Dallas Cowboys defensive coaches should have saw the same thing, and so he may get his yardage or whatever. So if we can stop one or the other, and I believe like Goff is a good quarterback too, but if we can stop him and let Goff do what he needs to do, and also put pressure on him at the same time, and I still say this is a different mindset on this Cowboy team. And a lot of people are saying that they could possibly lose this game because of the fact that it's in Detroit, this running back that they do have. And I look at the thing like everybody else should look at it. If we look at that clip and we don't see what that young man can do, well, then we shouldn't be coaches. So I would possibly, but so, and sometimes they say you need to put 8 in the box. I don't know if we need to do that or whatever, but whatever it takes to do to stop him or guard one of the two things we need to do. And again, I go right back to the clip that we saw. The Dallas Cowboy defensive coaches should have saw the same thing. And if they didn't, they need a seeing eye dog.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, he can take over a game, as we saw in the Giants game that the Lions played against them. He was unbelievable, unbelievable, and he's been that way since he's gotten into the league. Been drafted out of Alabama by the Lions. He's been a game breaker. Every time he touches the ball, he can take it the distance. He really can, and so the Cowboys really need to focus on getting him down. Not, and I mean, he's gonna get a couple runs here and there for sure. But we need to make sure that we get him down as quickly as possible, prevent any of those extremely long runs, those long touchdown runs for sure. That we got to get that done. Got another comment from Brandon. Gibbs won't be playing the Bucks defense. Quentin Williams, stopgap. Do not play too deep zone coverage outside. No, agreed. Agreed. The clip that was played was just to show how bad of a young man he is. Now, do I think he's gonna get a couple runs? As I just said, yes, I believe he will get a couple runs here and there. But it's about the amount, limiting those runs that he gets, those big runs, ensuring that he does not break the game wide open. Because if he does that, it opens up everything else for their offense. That play action pass that Jared Goff is so good at, it definitely opens that up, and we do not want that happening. Yes, Quentin Williams is going to have to do his thing as he's continued to do since he's become a part of the Cowboys organization, as well as the rest of the defense. They're going to need to step it up. And as Quincy, as you said before, and Brandon, I believe you said this as well earlier in the show, is that start fast. The defense needs to start fast. We don't need to be catching up. We don't need to make adjustments. We need to make plays, get them down, make plays from jump, from jump. And the Cowboys, as we know, and as I said before, touchdowns instead of field goals. Bottom line, we get in the red zone, touchdowns instead of field goals. is going to take that against this team because they can score a lot of points, as we've seen. And remember, last time we played them, they threw up 40 points against us. Now, mind you, totally different defense. I get all that. But I can almost assure you that that's on the minds of the Cowboys that were here last year that witnessed that. They want to get a piece of them. They want to take care of business. That's what I believe. So we're going to see how that goes. But I truly believe that it's truly etched in their minds. Matter of fact, even Jerry Jones mentioned it yesterday, talking about, man, I still remember that 40 points they put up on us last year. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm hoping that they get it done. It's a crucial game, Pops, as you well know. And if they win this game, we were saying it's about the Chiefs game and the Eagles game, but if they win this game, because this is much bigger, because the Lions are ahead of them right now, as far as I know. They're ahead of them. And so we want to make sure that we do all we can to beat as many NFC opponents to prevent us from having any issues, tiebreakers, or any of that stuff. Because I can tell you, as I said before, the Eagles you lose one more game, then the Cowboys will win the NFC East. If the Eagles lose one more game, we win out. Cowboys win out, we will win the NFC East. Okay. The Pops, give me a score prediction, sir.
I got the Dallas Cowboys winning this game 24-20.
24-20. Who do you think is going to shine the most in this game, Pops?
The receivers and the running back.
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, one
So you
other
said
thing. One other thing.
okay.
We got the young man that's supposed to the run stopper. This is where he's gonna earn his money at. They're gonna earn their money right here. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that tomorrow night.
You're talking about Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark, right?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. So 24-20, right? That's what you said.
That's correct.
All right. So I'm gonna say 17-14 Cowboys. All right, Brandon's got another comment. The Lions are 8th, we're 9th, Panthers are 10th, but they're coming. We need that W. I completely agree with you, sir. So the best thing is we gotta win out, Pops. And looking at everybody else, focus on handling your business, winning these games, taking care of the business that only you can control, and it's winning these games. If they win out, Pops, there's no what are people gonna say? There's nothing they can say. They're assured a playoff spot. I'm hearing all these people talking about they don't think they're going to make the playoffs, and I'll tell you the worst loss that we talk about the Bears, talk about the Panthers. The worst loss that we suffered this year so far was against the Arizona Cardinals. Would you agree with that? So, if anything, that's the loss. If anything, would come back to bite us. But I'm not worried about that. If they went out, they're going to get in the playoffs. Just hoping that the Eagles lose that one more game. Quincy Wells chiming in with another comment with his score, saying, I believe 31-20, 31-27, boys. Okay, 31-27. Appreciate the comment, my man. I'm going to say, like I said, 17-14. That's what I'm saying. 17-14, Cowboys win it. I believe that Brandon Aubrey going to make that game-winning field goal. Now, I'm hoping I'm wrong on the score, but I just think that's what it's going to be because everyone's thinking it could be a shootout, whatever the case may be. I just think that the defense is going to come out to play really well, and then we're going to have to take advantage of the possessions that we have, again, to score touchdowns instead of field goals. So 17-14 is my take on it. All right, y'all. So now we're going to get to the question of the day. And before that, we're going to read this comment from Brandon. The only way we get in the playoffs is to win the NFC East. We lose any more games, we get the couch. Yeah. That's why I said we got to handle our business. Only thing we can do is control what we can control. And it's winning games on our end. We can't look at any other teams, whatever. Handle the business that we can handle. And that's winning these games. Bottom line. So as I say, y'all, we're going to get into our question of the day. The best QB in the NFL, division by division. This time we are talking about the AFC North. The AFC North, and in previous clips, you did see those quarterbacks. We had Lamar Jackson. We got Joe Burrow. There's Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, We also have Aaron Rodgers and Shador Sanders. The only reason I said Shador is because I don't think he's going to relinquish the starting QB role for Cleveland. I think they're going to continue to give him opportunity to play. He just needs to play a little bit better than what he did against the 49ers. But Pops, who is your pick for the best QB in the AFC North?
Are we going to this up to this point, or are we going to the future of the
No,
North?
we're talking about right now.
Okay, this is gonna sound crazy when I say this, but I'm gonna go with Shador Sanders.
Oh, okay. I was not expecting that. And we're talking about I want to rephrase that. We're talking about the best QB in the division right now. You're saying Shador Sanders.
I'm saying Shador Sanders, and I say that because they haven't given this young man an opportunity to play. It's been some kind of a politics going on, but what I've seen him do with the short amount of time that he's had to do it, I'm putting him up there on the pedestal right now.
Okay. You're going out there on the limb with that one, Pops. But hey, do your thing. I like it. Now, for me, I'm saying Joe Burrow. That is my pick. Joe Burrow is my pick just because of the fact that he just showed he's been off an injury or been out injured. Where the last few games he comes back against the Ravens, whose defense had been playing well as of late and put up numbers and led them to victory. And I like his swag overall. I just like how he plays. I'll tell you, Pops, whenever the Cincinnati Bengals are on TV, as a marquee game, I I tune in because I want to watch him play. I love watching Joe Burrow play, seeing him throw the ball. You know how you used to talk about, Roger Starbuck or Bart Starr, how I used to like them throwing spirals. That's how I feel about Joe Burrow and how he plays in general. He really makes everyone around him better. He's that force
Right.
multiplier. As you saw, Joe Flacco was in there playing his tail off. Got a comment from Brandon. Best in the AFC North, Joe Burrow. Rodgers is over the hill. Lamar does not have an offense. Neither does Shador. Understood. Good point. Good point. And again, with Joe Burrow, he is a force multiplier. He makes everyone around him better. He just hypes up the team. Seems like to another level. The energy level is totally different when he's out there playing. Another comment from Brandon. Burrow is elusive like Osep Romo. Agreed. Agreed. Now, man, they gotta definitely play a lot better the O line for sure. Because that's the reason why he was hurt in the first place. Because the O line wasn't blocking for him that well. Wasn't blocking for him that way. Hey, y'all, if y'all liking the content, be sure to follow and subscribe. Sorry, like, subscribe, and to share as well. We greatly appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate y'all support. Be sure to uh, subscribe, and to share as well. Thank y'all so much. But as I said, Joe Burrow is my pick. And listen, Aaron Rodgers, um, he's looking pretty bad right now, Pop.
Yeah, 1 year,
You know,
1 year, 1 year.
1 year, 1 year, and just in general, Pops, over these last few years, and we're talking about in this division right now,
Yeah,
he's not looking all that great. He's got an injured wrist. They showed the one picture of him just looking like he did not want to be in the NFL anymore at all. Yeah, Pops said 1 year. Yeah, but like I said, he doesn't look like he wants to be in the NFL anymore. It looks like he's probably going to be his last year for
yeah.
sure, depending on how things finish up. But I just think overall, I think he's done. And then what you're doing again, I appreciate the tape. Going out on a limb with that one. I think that eventually he will become that if they give him, as you said, the opportunity to have that tutelage, that good tutelage from Stefanski, and making, because he is a good coach. And as I said, if Shador Sanders the same attention as he gave all the other quarterbacks, I think he's gonna do very, very well. He's shown flashes. He's shown flashes. And I really thought he may pull out the victory against the 49ers this past Sunday. Didn't happen, And then the unfortunate situation with the receiver Judy going at him sideways was ridiculous. You don't do that. That was awful. You do that behind closed doors. Because at the end of the day, keep in mind he is a rookie still learning. And so just understand that help the man learn as it goes, as opposed to just, going at him like that. But I really do think he could become the best QB in this division if he gets the proper coaching and the attention as Stefanski's given all the other QBs. Got another comment from Brandon. Shadur cannot succeed with Judy in his ear with that BS. Agreed. And that's why I said he's got to chill on that. There's no way he's going to excel if that's going to continue. You can do all those things and have those discussions, but that needs to be behind closed doors. So not to be where all the cameras are showing and all that. They can clearly focus on that. It's not a good look, man. Not a good look at all. So we'll see. Like I said, Pops, I agree with you with him being the best quarterback in that division when, as time progresses.
Yeah, in
Just not
time.
right now.
Right.
Just not right now.
Right.
But we'll see how it produces, how things produce as this season goes on in that division, and who comes out on top. But like I said, I think right now, for me, Joe Burrow is going to do his thing, and I think that Joe Burrow is going to actually win this division. Got another comment from Brandon. The Broncos knew Judy was a cancer. Hey man, they traded him, so yeah, they knew something was going on. But yeah, as I said, I think my pick of Joe Burrow being the best QB in this division, he's going to show that by them winning the division and getting it done. Any more thoughts on these QBs in the AFC North, Pops?
Well, I really honest opinion is that I kind of like would agree with Burrow, but the injury prone, his injuries, he's been injured. I don't know what the last 2-3 years or so, whatever, and then he's going good. And next thing you know, the injury occurs or whatever, and then the next thing you know, well then the Bengals are trying to hold on. So that's the only thing I have with him. I could kind of agree with you on that, but I just look at the injuries and he's kind of like injury prone or whatever.
Yeah, and the O line does need to do their thing. They need to get it done. Yo, Prime, appreciate you tuning in. What up, sir? Thank you for the support, sir. Thanks for the comment. But yeah, the O line does need to protect them a whole lot better because they are the reason why he is often injured is because they can't protect him. And I'll tell you this: if they don't win this division or get into the playoffs, I don't know about Zach Taylor, the coach of the Bengals. Might be it for him.
Hmm.
Just saying. Another comment from Brandon: Joe Burrow is better than street. Joe Burrow is better than street clothes. Come on, man. Come on, man. Here you go again. I always appreciate you chiming in, man. But here you go with that street clothes stuff, man. You gotta chill out with that, man. But yeah, like I said, we'll see how time will tell how things turn out with this division. Like I said, Joe Burrow will show that he is the best quarterback in this division because they're gonna win this division, go on a run and get it done. That's what I think. We'll see
Okay.
if your pick of Shadur Sanders makes it happen, Pops. I think, like I
Okay.
said, for the future, yes. Now, not. Probably not. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, time will tell. But y'all, listen, that is gonna do it for us today. We appreciate y'all tuning in. We know we're on an hour later today, so thank y'all so much for sticking with us. Thank y'all so much for the support, all the comments today. Thank y'all so much. I can't tell you enough how much we appreciate it. Uh, please, if you like the content, be sure to like, to share, and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it, y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. And y'all, we'll be on next week. We'll be on Thursday at 6 o'clock. Okay. So not Wednesday next week. We'll be on Thursday at 6 o'clock. So there's something to keep in mind. We'll look forward to y'all tuning in. Until next time, peace out, y'all.